again have two daughters, and they have embedded themselves in Rotary Youth Exchange just like I have. And between us, I think we've hosted about 15 kids. So I saw this coming. Bridget looks at me, when she's little, she's pretty smart, because when she looks at me, she recognizes my sarcasm, and she figured me out that she's real inquisitive, very sharp girl, and she's going to go to Denmark this year. So we're going to let her talk about herself. Bridget, go.
Hello, I'm Bridget Young, and if you're here at the Rotary auction, you may have met me, so hello again, and thank you for having me this afternoon. I'm the Outbound student for Rotary Youth Exchange this upcoming school year, and I'll be in Denmark, and I hope to represent this club, Sedalia, Missouri, and our country very well. I'll talk a bit more about me later, but first I'd like to explain what RYE is for those who don't know much about it, so you can get a sense of what's ahead. First of all, I can't remember a time where I didn't know what Rotary or Rotary Youth Exchange was. My family began hosting students when I was 4, and we've been involved off and on since then. The RYE program is an 11-month cultural and educational exchange program that started in 1972 that puts a student into a new culture with a new language and offers many life-changing experiences. The program has grown to having over 7,000 students from 46 different countries each year. RYE's mission is to develop leadership skills, learn a new language and culture, build lasting friendships, and lastly, become a global citizen. Overall, the goal is to promote international peace and understanding. Rotary Youth Exchange is offered to 15 to 18-year-olds in high school that are evaluated on their character, poise, grades, leadership, independence, and maturity. After our interviews and selection, we go through orientations at the district level and have to do a lot of language learning before we leave. I'll live as a family member to my 3 host families, as a student in my school, and as a Rotarian in my host club. So, about me. I'm a Sedalia native and a sophomore at Smith Cotton. I'm active in theater, so this past fall I was in Little Shop, and I've been in Mary Poppins, and then over at the junior high I was in 5 productions throughout my junior high years. I'm also involved in show choir. This year our theme was Living in America, so we got to be very patriotic. And then I'm also on the math team where I take tests for fun, and sometimes I get shiny things. And this past March I was inducted into National Honor Society. My dad is Chris Young, who many of you members of Rotary know, and my mom is Ann Young, and they're both with me here today. My dad works as the Assistant Director for Web and Digital Marketing over at UCN now, and my mom is the Technical Support Department Supervisor at Interstate Studio. I have a sister who's attending Truman State University in Kirksville. Together, we love all things Disney. We've actually gotten the wonderful opportunity to bring 2 of our 4 exchange students that we've hosted to Disney World with us. We've hosted Leah from France in 2005 and 2006, and Name or Nanapot from Thailand in 2006-2007. And then we hosted Paula from Brazil in 2009-2010, and Jem from Turkey in 2010 and 2011. Me and my sister have also been very active in our church choir at Calvary Episcopal Church downtown. And as a family, we're big fans of the Kansas City Royals, and especially Salvador Perez, but we'd like to not talk about their record right now. So when I go, I'll have a host club in Denmark. I found out everything on where I'll be staying, my school, and 2 of my 3 host families within the past couple weeks. My host club is the Nordvester Aarhus Club in Aarhus. Aarhus is the 2nd largest city in Denmark, with the area having a population of around 340,000. Aarhus began as a Viking community in the 8th century, and it's one of the oldest cities in Denmark. They also have the largest university in all of Scandinavia. So if you can't see it, Aarhus is this one. While in Aarhus, I'll be going to Aarhus Statsgymnasium. Statsgymnasium simply means state high school. There's about 800 students there, and I'll have 3 classes, math, music, and Spanish. I'll also have Danish lessons for the first 2.5 months that I'm there. Based on the pictures that I've seen, Like those up on the screen, the school is very beautiful. It was actually part of an architecture competition in the 50s. So the design is very interesting, and there are a lot of large pieces of art in the halls. So now I'm going to talk about my host families that I have. As of right now, I have 2 of my 3 families. Rotary tries to increase the number of families that you have so you can show the student what a variety of different home lives can look like, and if there happens to be an issue with the family, which there probably won't be, but I can always have backup. So my first family is from a tiny village called Tolstrup outside of the small town of Harlev. Harlev is actually pretty far out from the city, about a 30-minute bus ride for me. It's a railway town that developed in the early 1900s. So I'll have to get on a bus every morning at 7 a.m. to ride to school. The Christensen family has 4 children, and all of them have been Rotary Youth Exchange students to the United States. The youngest one is actually about to leave for his exchange to eastern Kansas in August, like me. So you can tell that this picture is kind of old because the youngest boy is my age now. My siblings' names are Tor, Selena, Freya, and Jens. I'm under the impression that my host dad, Tommy, is very involved with their Rotary Club. I'll be their 7th student that they have hosted with Rotary, so I'm confident that they're a wonderful family. He and my host mom, Bodil, are lawyers, and the firm was started by Tommy in the 90s. I think they're pretty good at what they do because I've done some reading, and apparently they have some of the best tax attorneys in all of Denmark at their firm. So I'll stay with them from the time that I arrive in August until mid-November. From there, I'll move to a family of 5 in the Riskov neighborhood of Aarhus. I believe that area is kind of like the calm in the middle of the city because they have a lot of beaches and nature. There will also be an Outbound student from this household. Her name is Camilla, and she'll be living in Argentina while I stay with her family. However, I also have 2 sisters that will be there with me. They're both 13, and their names are Maria and Charlotte. They're twins, and I'm lucky they're not identical. So you can see, I tried asking which was which, and I didn't get an answer. Per Stenderup, my host dad, is a real estate investor, and my host mom, Karen, works at the university as a professor of engineering. They seem to be very athletic, and they like to run, play soccer, badminton, swim, and bike. I'll get to spend Christmas with this family, and then I'll move to my 3rd family in March. I'll have the opportunity to travel around all of Denmark, especially since it's so small. To compare, Denmark is about the size of Maryland, Delaware, and Rhode Island all put together. I will also get to do some out-of-country traveling as well. Something I'm very excited about is at the end of my exchange, I'll get to go on a tour of Europe to 12 cities in 8 different countries, all in 18 days. I'll get to go with all the other exchange students in Denmark. It's an extra $2,500, but I think it'll be worth it. There are many benefits to Rotary Youth Exchange program that led me to choose Rotary for my exchange. Obviously, I have a background with Rotary with all the students we hosted, so I probably would have chosen Rotary anyway. But there are still benefits that are very positive. Because of all the work that you guys do is not compensated and you volunteer so much, it benefits us, the students. I pay less because of you all, so thank you so much for the lovely work that you all do for me and for all of the Rotary Youth Exchange students. Another thing Rotary does is that we get to become very close with the other exchange students in our host country. We have weekend trips and bus trips for just exchange students, so you really get close to all the other students. Your connections around the world grow exponentially, and I love that I'll be able to say I know someone from tons of different countries. I also like that I'll get to be with more than one family, which is also something not many programs do. When I return, I'll start my senior year of high school at Smith Cotton. I'll actually not be receiving any credit for the schooling I will complete while abroad. It depends on the school district, and Sedalia 200 decided to not give me any credit. Luckily, I've done summer school last summer and will be doing some this summer, and I'm planning on graduating with the exact amount of credits that are required to get your diploma. Some of you as parents may be wondering why my parents thought this was okay, or you may be wondering if I'm out of my mind, but don't worry, I think that too. Well, my parents have been around Youth Exchange enough to recognize this as a great opportunity for me, even though they'll miss me. And I'll miss my friends, school activities, junior prom, my family, but it'll be worth it. I'll get to have 3 new families, and I'll get to expand my friend group on a global level. I'll get to visit places that seem unreal. In my personal opinion, learning about the world wars on site, or going to the canals in Copenhagen, traveling around Europe will beat out my junior prom or the fall musical or show choir season. Those will all still be here when I return, and I'll make sure I'll enjoy them tons my senior year. So while I leave, many of you know that there's a student coming in. I want to thank any future host families in the room because our host families are the people that make our exchange. All of your all's involvement with Rotary will change that girl's life, as will the members of my club and all. I'd also like to thank you for sponsoring me. I couldn't do what I'm about to do without you guys. I'm also going to thank Dave Limbaugh for all the help he's given me throughout this long process of paperwork, and then waiting, and then some more paperwork. When I come back, I will give a recap on the experiences that I have, and I can't wait to return. So thank you guys for having me here today.
What do you think? I think we picked the right one. She's sharp as a tack. Bridget, are you 15? 16. Wow. I couldn't even stand here when I was 16. Do you want to ask her any questions? I have one thing I know that's real fun, that I heard that the reason you picked the Scandinavian countries was why?
Denmark has been rated the happiest country in the world for like 6 years in a row.
She wants to go find out why they're so happy. So that was cool. It's been a pleasure to see you grow up, and wow, that was a good presentation. So we have a gift for you. We'll get later, 1 o'clock. So thank you for coming, and thanks for your attention.